Okay, this question is testing us on exchange rate, particularly appreciation of currency, and then how it relates to the balance of payment. Okay, how it affects balance of payment. All right. Now this question has given us two graph. All right, the first graph that we have got here is actually on the exchange rate movement. There are two kind of exchange rate movement here, if you still remember. The first one is bilateral, which is Australian dollar to USD, and then the second one is TWI, which is multilateral, trade weighted index. Okay, so that's why I think it's quite clear here that this line, bold line, represent value of AUD. This one represent the TWI. Okay. Now the second graph tells us the CAD as a percentage of GDP. Okay. Now as you can see, CAD, current account deficit, it has been a deficit always. Okay, since it is a deficit, as you can see, it's always negative here. All right, so it's always below zero. All right, now then we look into the question. Question A1 says, what was the value of Australian dollar in terms of USD in March 2015? This is a very, very simple question. You just need to go to the first graph, draw a line across the March 2015, and then find that value. Which value are we looking at? To USD, the bolded one, okay, which is this one. So you look at this value, and from there, approximately, this is what I've got, 0.65. USD. Now it can be plus minus 0.02 kind of a thing. All right, so usually they accept it. All right, now next thing, what was the value of capital and financial account balance in March 2014? Okay, from the graph given here, the second graph that we have got, it's CAD. But question asks us about capital and financial account balance, which is KAS. I don't have KAS here, but I know the value for CAD is equal to KAS at equilibrium. All right. So March 2014 here, I have here March 2014, and this is the value, about 2% of GDP. All right, it says negative 2% here because it's current account deficit, so capital and financial accounts surplus will be positive 2% of GDP. So that is very straightforward questions. All right, part B. With the aid of diagram or model, show how movement in current account deficit from March 2014 to March 2012 to March 2014 will influence the exchange rate of Australian dollar. Okay, so there are two parts. Okay, this question has two parts. First of all, they need you to analyze from March 2012 to 2014, what was the current account deficit movement. So let's move up to the current account deficit graph. Okay, March 2012 to 2014, from here to here. So what is the CAD movement? We know CAD has reduced, lesser deficit. Okay, so now if we say lesser deficit, fall in CAD. That's the first part. Second part, it says how this fall will then influence the exchange rate. Fall in CAD means what? Fall in CAD will tell us that there is lesser outflow from the country. Am I right or not? Lesser outflow or lesser debit as compared to the previous year. Okay, or maybe more credit as compared to previous year. Hence, you have lesser deficit. So, in other words, it is actually telling us that our currency appreciate. Okay, say if we are saying lesser CAD because more credit, more inflow. That's why lesser deficit. More inflow would mean what? More inflow would mean more demand for AUD, right? Because inflow, you have to convert it into AUD one. So more inflow, more demand. So you can draw this graph. Okay? Demand supply curve, shifting your demand curve to the right. All right, all this information has to be accurate lah. All right, or you can also draw this one. Either one will do, because the question doesn't tell you in detail what has actually changed apart from the result that CAD has reduced. All right, so you can actually draw this one as well. If you can explain that it could be due to lesser outflow, lesser debit from your balance of payment, or from your current account, hence lesser deficit. Lesser outflow of AUD would mean lesser supply of AUD in the market. So you can draw again demand supply model, all right, and then shifting your supply curve to the left. So either one of these will show you that AUD appreciates. Okay, lesser CAD, AUD will appreciate. All right, you can put figure here if you want to. I'm too lazy to put figure, so I just put ER1, ER2. All right, so one graph will give you 1 mark. You don't need 2. I'm just giving you another example. And then you explain the movement. How to explain the movement? Very simple. SS represents supply, DD represent demand of AUD. All right. Now, with an increase in demand, it will result in demand curve to be shifted from DD to DD1. Hence, exchange rate increase from ER1 to ER2. That's it. That's all we need. Okay. Okay, similar goes to this one. So that is 1 mark. Then you have to explain you have to explain your answer. Why do you think that CAD reduces would mean AUD appreciate? Why is that so? So I have given 4 way of explaining here. 2 marks, you only need 2 of this. Okay, so the first one I said, it could be because import decreases, so lesser outflow, lesser supply of AUD in the market, AUD appreciates. So this corresponds to this graph here. Okay, then I could say that because export increases, trading partner has to pay me more, so more inflow. More inflow means more demand of AUD. More demand of AUD appreciates. Okay, so this corresponds to the first graph that I have got. Third possible explanation is I move to the income accounts. Okay, net primary income or net secondary income, doesn't matter. So I just put income payment. When income payment reduces, lesser outflow, I don't have to pay that much to foreigners. Lesser outflow, lesser supply, AUD appreciate. Or income payment increases. No, this one is wrong, yeah, the last one. Okay, this one is wrong. Please replace it. We could say that income received, change this to received, increases, change this to inflow of AUD, increases, hence demand for AUD increases, AUD appreciate. Okay. Next questions. Explain the impact of trend in Australian dollar from March 2013 onwards to the balance of payments account, 6 marks. So you need to have 3 effect of the movement of Australian dollar. From March 2013, let's go back to our graph. March 2013, which is here. March 2013 onwards, what happens to the movement of AUD? We know it has depreciated. See, a fall. So when we say depreciation of Australian dollar, how would it affect the balance of payment? One thing that you have to keep in mind here, the question says trend of Australian dollar as a whole. So in case if data give you this increase, this decrease, which is possible, all right, you have to refer to TWI because it represents the overall performance of the currency. So you have to find the TWI here. Okay, so back to here, depreciates. How does it affect balance of payment? Balance of payment includes both CAD and KAS. So if the question asks you this kind of statement, what you need to know is you must explain the depreciation, the effect on CAD as well as on KS, balance of payment account as a whole. Okay, so back to CAD. CAD, the first account that I've got is the balance of trade. So I start with the first one. When AUD depreciate, our exports become more competitive. International competitiveness of export increases. Hence, demand for export will increase, export revenue increases, and so on and so forth. Alright? Then I move on with the import. Still under balance of goods and services, I move on to import. When AUD depreciate, import becomes very expensive. Okay? Now, hence, consumer will then choose to buy domestic goods instead of importing. So if that is the case, then import payment will reduce, BOGS increase, CAD improve. Alright? Next part that you can possibly have is AUD depreciate. How does it affect your next account, which is your net primary income? Okay? Now, when AUD depreciate, you still have to pay the same amount of interest. Okay, so if the loan that you are getting from foreigners is denominated in a foreign currency, then at this point of time, you know that you have to pay more. For example, if the loan is in USD, then you have to pay more because your currency depreciate. You need more AUD to change it to USD. So debt servicing cost increases. Hence, it also means interest payment increases. Net primary income will then worsen because you are paying more outflow, more debit from your net primary income, hence CAD worsen. So all these three are on current account deficit. What about on KAS? Okay, so I have here, when AUD depreciate, foreigners would want to invest in your country because it's cheaper. So more foreign investors are attracted, more inflow, KAS will increase. Okay, more inflow into your financial accounts, but ultimately, of course, your CAD will worsen because you have to pay more to serve those foreign liabilities. All right, that's all. Thank you.